You're invited. You are so invited to come and join us. You would think every time I would invite somebody to something, especially if it was free, really regardless of whether it was free or if there was a cost associated, because as long as it was an investment, as long as it was value for what you were investing financially or monetarily, because you're investing your time regardless, you would think, and I would think, and in my head I would tell you that I was excited about inviting you. And yet I discovered something fascinating last week, that maybe it was 2 weeks ago, that in fact, I'm not excited. And you're thinking, what? What is wrong with you? Well, actually there was something that was askew. And what I realized after somebody said they were pushing people to come to things, and so that disturbed me immensely at the core of my being, and I thought, why is it disturbing me so much? And I realized that when I invite you to something, I am feeling a trepidation around it. Whether I'm charging you something or not, whether it's an invitation to dinner or whether it's an invitation to a Decker Team family gathering, which is where we bring all our clients together and we hang out and we have apples. We just had a great event this weekend, great gathering with everybody. We build traditions and we make memories and we have fun. And even if I knew that it was really good for you or potentially good for you, I would have this reservation in the pit of my stomach, in my heart. I could feel it in my being. And it was disturbing me because I didn't even really know it was there. I've had it so long. And then I started deciding I had to figure out, get to the root, get to the core. Started asking myself those questions. Started asking God, what happened? Where did I go askew? What is going on for me? Because even when I'm coming from a giving space, which is the only way I would invite you to anything, if I didn't think it was good for you or perceived that you might perceive it that way, I wouldn't even invite you. And so what was it? Well, you know what I figured out? When I was 16, I had this boyfriend, and it was not Ken. It was right before Ken. And he told me about this amazing surprise birthday party that my mom and dad were having, and I was devastated that he told me. And then worse than that, the next day when the party was happening, he didn't show. And I got rid of him for that. And yet then I spent the next year regretting my decision and attempting to go after him, making a fool of myself. Ken saved me because then he came into the picture and then that was all done. And yet something in me made it all about me that he didn't show up. He was a farmer. He needed to be in the fields haying. I mean, it wasn't a big deal, except for me for the next, let's say 40 plus years, 40 years, something like that, I made it mean that I wasn't good enough, that I wasn't worthy of you coming to something, or there was at least a piece of me that thought that. So I had a hard time inviting you to anything. So I would make the decision for you. Have you ever done that? Decided for someone else whether they should be at something? Well, I've done that way too many times. So if you didn't get an invitation from me, even when you ought to have gotten an invitation, it was my stuff. It wasn't your stuff. It was something going on for me, so I wouldn't give an invitation. Or worse yet, what I would sometimes, well, maybe not worse yet, as well, what I would sometimes do is, because I was feeling trepidation, didn't know I was feeling trepidation and stressed, I would do it in an aggressive, pushy sort of way, whereas that's not my heart. My heart is to invite you. My responsibility is to invite you, and your responsibility is to choose. Choose whether you want to come. And I knew that in my head, and yet something in my being went askew. So the great news is, figured out the root problem, seemed to be cured from it, feeling really good. So if you get an invitation from me, know that I feel responsible to invite you, that I would love you to be there. And if you can't, I'm actually really okay with that too. It really isn't up to me to decide for you, yes or no. So my responsibility is to invite. Your responsibility is to choose powerfully. Powerful yes, powerful no. The maybe so, wishy-washy, that doesn't really serve anybody. So decide. So the invitation I have for you today actually is tomorrow's Roar Canada's Mastermind, and I am actually facilitating the session, 12:45 to 4. It is going to be on Soaring Together. So I'm grateful that somebody's taught me this lesson, caused me to have to go deep, because now I can boldly request that if you want to grow, if you want to be unstoppable, if you want to have people, a tribe, a community, people to do life with and move each other forward, then you want to be there. 12:45 to 4, there are still tickets. roarcanada.ca is where you'd go to get them. If it's not for you, then powerfully say no, and I'm really good with that. So hopefully we will see those that are intended to be there tomorrow. It is the only one we are doing for the rest of 2017. I've been planning for 2018, so I almost said 2018. I'm even looking ahead to 2019 for what's going on. And the amazing thing that I just found out is there will be the reveal of a Roar painting tomorrow. So it'll be our fourth annual, and they are all extraordinary. They seem to get to the core of our being. And what a great thing that is. So if you want to grow together, move forward together in life, you could choose to join me and some other amazing men, women, and teenagers at the Mastermind tomorrow. It's in the city, but you can find all about that when you go online at roarcanada.ca. So no longer afraid to invite you. You choose powerfully yes or no. And then the question I might have for you in addition to that is, what's getting in your way? When have you decided for another that they're not going to come to something, so you don't even ask them? And you rob them of attending something that they would love to have attended. So, love for you to attend. Have an amazing night. We'll talk to you soon.